You get Marceline, Rolf, Shigo, side characters that are usually fan favorites in the lead's respective shows. You think back to your favorite cartoon character, you don't picture the main character, you picture the side character, the one who occasionally shows up but somehow owns the episode, the one who walks on screen and instantly derails everything, the one who says a single sentence and somehow that's the part you remember 10 years later. Cartoon history is full of shows where the protagonist technically exists, but the side characters are doing all the heavy lifting. The jokes are getting sharper, the pacing wakes up, and the writing feels witty. But what's crazy is this isn't an accident. Why is it always the characters that show up for 5 minutes to completely hijack your brain for the next 10 years, Most cartoon protagonists are designed to be structurally stable, not boring or useless, but safe. They need to be relatable, flexible, morally steerable. They're the emotional center of gravity. Side characters, though, Side characters are where the writers stash the good stuff. That's where the cruelty goes, the stupidity, the personality spikes. And once you start paying attention, you realize something. Side characters don't just support the cartoons, they define the tone. You see, main characters have responsibilities. They need to carry the plot and learn lessons, be someone the audience can project onto, which means they can't fully commit to being awful. They can't be too mean, they can't be too dumb, they can't derail the episode beyond repair. So writers invent these pressure valves, characters whose entire job is to say the wrong thing, make the worst decision, blow up the scene instantly. Take Adventure Time. Finn is earnest, he grows, he learns lessons. But then you get characters like Lemon Grab. Lemon Grab ignores consequences, casually ruins situations with zero guilt. He does the most insane thing like eating his brother, maybe, for playing with a doll.
Only one! The end!
That division of labor is intentional. But what I love is side characters aren't less important, they're more specialized. They usually exist to do one thing extremely well. In Ed, Edd n Eddy, Jimmy is that gullible target Eddie can try and perform schemes on. Rolf brings this absurd folklore logic. Kevin is the antagonist. They don't really grow or change too much, but they collide with the Eds and leave destruction behind. And that's perfect for the side character design. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Aang is carrying all the emotional weight, but you've got characters like Sokka, Uncle Iroh, Toph. They're allowed to be sharper, ruder, and more opinionated. They create contrast and stop the show from becoming heavy all the time. Side characters, they don't need build-up either. They enter, spike the scene, and leave. That's why they dominate memory. And I know this isn't a cartoon, but that's why Pirates of the Caribbean worked so well. Jack would enter a scene like a tornado and leave the characters to deal with it. Think about The Simpsons. Homer is the protagonist, but the most iconic moments belongs to Mr. Burns, Moe, Ralph Wiggum, comic book guy. These characters exist to interrupt scenes, deliver one devastating joke, and leave before the episode collapses. They don't need arcs, they need timing. That's why the entire episode feels better when the side character shows up.
Well, actually, Ao, not all characters follow this rule. Some protagonists...
Oh, I know! I'm getting to it! Can you just let the episode progress for once, instead of interrupting me? I was getting to that point. It was actually tethered up quite nicely, but now you've interrupted me, you stupid f***ing moron, interrupting me when I'm about to make a good point. You stupid shiny head ass ghoul, always flapping your f***ing mouth, you stinging building crest looking ass. Now, of course there are outliers. Even the examples I've used so far, like Ed, Edd n Eddy, Ed can often be used as a side character nightmare to Eddie's schemes. It's not necessarily a rule that is followed 100% of the time, but more of a majority situation. Look at SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob is optimism incarnate, but the funniest lines usually belong to Squidward, Mr. Krabs, Plankton. Squidward especially exists so he can mock work culture, express adult exhaustion, say things SpongeBob never could, and that's why he's quoted endlessly. He's the emotional outlet for jokes the main character can't safely say. If Squidward just sat there and made a joke about working in the Krusty Krab and SpongeBob just agreed with him, well, that wouldn't be very fun. You need the protagonist to not come across as whiny because he's on screen 90% of the show. There's a bit of a secret sauce why side characters hit harder over time. When you're a kid, you relate to the protagonist. When you grow up, you become the side character. You understand the grumpy neighbor and the tired co-worker, the sarcastic friend who hates everything. That's why characters like Squidward, Eero, Benson from the regular show age incredibly well. They weren't written just for kids. They were written for the parents in the room, other siblings, adults pretending not to watch. And that layered writing sticks. Modern cartoons often make this mistake. They try to make everyone emotionally correct. Every character has to be justified and redeemed and explained. But side characters, they don't need this permission. They can just be jerks, idiots, and menaces. When you remove that, nobody steals the scene. Nobody spikes energy. Everyone blends together. The show becomes pleasant and forgettable. Main characters keep the show running. Side characters make it memorable. They're the ones you quote, the ones you imitate, the one you secretly wish the episode was about. And if your cartoon doesn't have a great side character, then your protagonist is carrying the entire load. Okay everyone, if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe and do all that thing. I hope you're having a fantastic 2026 so far. I know I am, and it's because you're here. Look at that. You're making my 2026 better. Bet you never thought you would amount to anything, but now you're a cartoon's crutch. Hey, we all need to be somewhere, right? Okay, see you in the next one.